wow, I must have done something right, because 2 weeks in a row now, Big Duke gets to do the intro to the podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. Big Duke here, 1/3 member of the Hogsmen. And coming up next are two guys who like to call it in the ring and in the bedroom. I'm talking about my two good brothers, Mike Hamden and Devin Sparks. So open up your ears and listen to the knowledge and stories that these two men will drop upon you. It's time for the podcast.
From the land of 2021 to just north of the border, strong style meets street style right here on this podcast. Because you're listening to the Osaka Saint, the Saitama Superstar, the Mad Titan of Tokyo, the American Kaiju. But double your pleasure, double your fun, because right now you get two Hogsmen for the price of one. He's the hombre with no nombre, mi hermano from another mamo. He's the world's greatest Rudo, El Numero Uno.
That's right. You're listening to two of the three Hogsmen. Big Duke couldn't make it this week. Said he'll be here next week. Dev, next week, cross your fingers.
They're crossed, buddy.
But it's Tuesday night, and it is January 5th.
Yeah, that's it.
2021.
Cinco.
A new year. New year, new you, Dev.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, actually it doesn't. It feels like everything is just kind of washed over from 2020 to 21 already.
That's right.
And then here's something I just read before you guys got here.
Please say something good.
No, it's not good.
Okay.
Dr. Dre had a brain aneurysm, and he's in ICU right now. Critical. I'm guessing that's pretty critical, right?
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
So yeah, this year is starting off on a bad foot. Dr. Dre.
He said he was lucid though, so
oh really?
Like he was able to talk and whatnot. So
I hope so, man. Yo, my grandfather, I'm pretty sure that's what he passed away from, was an aneurysm, and it wasn't like that. It was one of those things where he had it, and then like a few weeks later, it finished the job.
It's yeah. I was gonna anyway. It's terrible. It's 2020 version 2, version 1.0, version 2.0.
See what happens, man. Yeah. I still remember first time I ever heard Dr. Dre. Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. I think I was in like 7th grade.
Bro, so good. How much of your life was shaped by Dre? Like the soundtrack of your life.
That like
so much.
When I first heard Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, I was like, what is this? Because I really hadn't listened to gangster rap prior to that. I didn't know who NWA was. Remember, I'm a white kid from, Ramona out in the sticks.
Flair, Steamboat.
So I didn't know anything about NWA. And then as soon as Dre came out with The Chronic, and then Snoop and Death Row and all that kind of stuff,
good.
My life changed. I thought I was a gangster.
You were a gangster.
Big gangster.
Heard stories. Yeah, man, that's pretty terrible.
He's going through a massive divorce right now too.
Is he?
Yeah, with his wife. She asked for a shit ton of money, but the judge was like, "Nah, dog, chill out for a second."
Really?
Yeah.
How do you even get away with that? I mean, I feel like at some point, once you're super rich, like, yeah, that's it. You can't say no. You can't be like, "I'm so rich now." You get $20,000 a year.
She wanted like, from what I read, I think it was like $2 million a month.
Well, he probably makes like $10 million a month.
Well, yeah, he's a billionaire.
That's like ashtray money for him.
Yeah,
but still, that's. It was for her lifestyle.
Here's what I don't get. If someone is making, by the way, you just heard NPA on the mic, not producer Adam, for those of you that aren't in the know. If you're making, let's say, $10 million a month, right? What's the difference between $2 million and $10 million? Do you notice the difference between $2 million? Because your spending habits probably haven't changed. You're probably spending the same amount a month at $2 million as you would $10 million.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're rich, you're rich.
But if
Dre is rich.
But if someone's making, let's call it $50 million a year, do you really have to be like, okay, listen, I get half of that. I get $25 million a year, or could you be like, I can make it work on $7 million?
Dude, like, I can make it work on $40,000 a year.
I know.
So, you have to have that certain mindset where like the almighty dollar, it just you're penny pinching like that. That's just all you think about is money, man, making money. It's crazy.
Could you imagine marrying a chick? You're Dre, you marry your wife, and for the divorce, she's like, dude, I could live off 40 grand. Just give me 40, Dre. That's all I want. At that point, he's probably like, all right, let's work this out.
Dude, I'd pull that. I would pull that out of my pocket.
I know,
like,
but at that point, he'd be like, all right, let's work it out because you're obviously like legit. Like whatever I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. That's kind of like when was it Linda Hogan and the Hulkster when they had their divorce, and she took him for everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, woman, but I didn't see you body slamming Andre.
Yeah.
I didn't see you destroy your body.
I mean, to be fair, he never bumped, but
Hogan never bumped?
not very often.
I mean, he's
in Japan he did, but those tapes don't exist.
Protecting himself.
That's true. I know his hips are destroyed, right? Didn't he get like
his lower back?
Oh, his lower back.
Lower back.
It's from that Andre thing, yeah.
You know what's funny is, so they had the Legends Night last night on Raw.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it.
Did you get the call?
Oh yeah, totally.
Nice.
I think I missed it. But so it's the Legends Night. I heard like Hogan was there, Flair was there,
Right.
Just a bunch of. They do this every year or every so often.
Every pandemic.
Yeah. And a lot of people are. Once again, I read a lot of people are mad about it, and a lot of like the wrestlers on the roster are mad about it or something like that. And it's like, you guys understand that they've been doing this for years. Bringing the legends back and putting them in the spotlight for the night. And it's like, this is just what they do, man. Like, you didn't know this before you signed the contract?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's probably because they were trying to watch Wrestle Kingdom, and they couldn't. They had legends on the roster instead.
Yeah.
That's what they're like, we just want to use the Tron for Wrestle Kingdom. And Vince was like, what the fuck is that? It's kind of a big deal, Vince. It's like a major Anyway, it's their WrestleMania.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up Goldberg and Drew McIntyre for the Rumble.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Hey, speaking of Wrestle Kingdom, did you hear this? A guy that I wrestled, really good friend of mine.
Ibushi,
yeah. He apparently has some kind of, I don't know, some sort of success over in New Japan. Did you hear about that?
He's doing okay.
He's doing all right?
He's doing okay. He pulled off an incredible Hurricanrana off the apron.
Yeah.
On who was it? Was it Tanahashi?
Naito.
Did I ever tell you about the time I wrestled him?
Yeah, and he shot bottle rockets at you or something like that.
Yeah, shot it in my ass.
And then he did a moonsault off of a truck.
He did. I caught him.
Did you guys see or hear about the crowd stuff at that show?
It looked like it was full.
The crowd was full. There was no social distancing. But here's the thing. Japanese officials made it that you could not make any noise with your mouth.
Oh, that's
Fuck
cool.
yeah.
The entire
Cool.
show was
That's
clapping
legit.
and stomping.
There you go.
Other than
That's all you need to
silence.
do.
But yeah,
And they listened to him.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that would happen here?
Oh,
the
hell
answer is
no.
no. It
Hell
doesn't
no.
matter where you go.
That's hilarious.
No one would do that here because how can you enforce that?
That's great. I mean,
Why wouldn't they just get the little clappers?
You know what I would do?
Oh, they did?
If I was that promotion, I would just play
If you were New Japan?
We Will Rock You. And
yeah.
all they do is just stomp and
The
clap.
whole time, throughout the whole match.
There you go. Fixed it.
Smart.
Yeah,
Fixed
but
it.
during most of their matches, it's quiet anyway, other than a couple of oohs and ahs. So it wasn't much different, when there was clapping and stomping, but no audible noise. But
Bro, yeah, I saw the video. I'm like, that place is fucking packed. And they just did. Japan just almost declared a state of emergency.
yeah, there was doubt there was going to be anyone allowed into the building.
How could you imagine that being like, hey, by the way, we're declaring a state of emergency because of a pandemic where too many of us are getting infected. Also, in the same breath, we're gonna host a 50,000 person event for 2-night event in the Tokyo Dome. Do you mind?
And no talking.
Yeah, no talking.
I didn't get a harump out of that guy. You guys ever seen Blazing Saddles? Incredible.
Great movie.
I haven't watched any Wrestle Kingdom except for like clips on the interweb.
Well,
I don't have
the point
access to it.
is that I made Ibushi a while ago, and he finally had his day in the sun. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
You gave him the rub.
I gave him the rub.
You gave him the rub.
It's I don't want to say it was all because of me, but I should take some credit.
Well, since then he's been to WWE,
He has.
and now he's a champion of New Japan. So
It's
almost like it was fate. After
It's
he
not
met
like
you.
it was a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's things called cause and effect, and
Yep.
I caused his success,
Mm-hmm.
and effectually he's now the champion of New Japan. Two champions. He's Intercontinental and just
Boom.
heavyweight. That's all it is.
It all adds up. You're making a very good, valid point.
Hey, everything's coming up Millhouse.
Right now, what you're saying is more credible than the election fraud theory that Trump is trying to go on.
Did you see that the phone call?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
Holy shit. I tried to send it to Adam. He's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to listen to it. I've already heard enough Trump. I'm like, hey, listen, Adam, virtue signal received, bro. I got you. You don't want to hear it. But that was a crazy fucking, that was a crazy, like, you talk about the Watergate tapes.
It's Nixon.
It's worse. It's so much worse.
It's I mean, this guy, if there's ever a suitable name for Teflon Don, that guy straight up will say that phone call is out right now.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever.
That's the point.
Man.
That's why when he sends it to me, Devin
call?
sends it to me, and I'm like, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing.
But at least get the entertainment out of it.
There's no There's nothing entertaining about
That's
this
fucking
to me.
entertaining. You weren't entertained? Were you entertained, Mike?
Well, yeah, but I didn't listen because it was like an hour phone call.
Right.
But they have clips where they break down just the important shit.
Like
so
I laughed my ass off. It was
funny.
hilarious. It was funny as hell.
It's just like the the balls on that guy is just amazing.
It's like this. Have you ever called someone on speakerphone to get a rise out of your friends? Like, like, check this out. Like,
we used to do prank calls like that.
I have done that all the I'm not even talking about prank calls. I'm just like, oh yeah, my mom's fucking crazy. Watch this, and I'll put her on the phone, and I'll be like, okay, watch what happens when I bring up the word blue. Something stupid, and then you go, hey mom, I went to the store today. I saw a blue shirt. She's like, holy shit, have I ever told you the story? And then you look at your friends, you're like, yup, what'd I tell you? That's what happened with this fucking tape. Was it was just one of those things where you press record, and there's someone in the background like, hey, check this out. See what happens when I call. Trump's calling. Listen what he says.
That's the funny too is they
nailed it.
They don't know who leaked it, which that's kind of interesting.
There's Trump.
I mean, it probably was.
He's like, look, they're gonna see how fraudulent this guy is. They're gonna know what he's up to, and he just has no sense of what's going on in the world whatsoever.
Yeah.
But very interesting, very funny to me.
New Year's night. Very quiet.
Yeah.
How about you?
Read a book. My wife fell asleep at like 10, and I read a book until 11:58 and fell asleep, and then woke up at 12:02.
Sick.
Yep, that's the kaiju for you.
Adam, what about you?
New Year's Eve, I didn't do anything. I live in a place where I want to say the people are big fans of NASCAR. So at about 12 o'clock, I heard what could have been either fireworks, shotguns, bombs, dealer's choice.
They're partying.
Yeah, they're partying. They were having a great time. They were playing their country music and going crazy.
Hey, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
And then New Year's Day, I hung out with this idiot. We watched college football.
I love college football. I love bowl season, man. I could get into any sport. I really could. I could get into any sport. I just love competition. So when it comes down to bowl season, I know every year people go, it's so stupid. Everyone gets a bowl game. I'm like, that's great. That's fantastic. Because you know why? Like, you have one winner at the end of the year of 200 schools. What else are you going to do with these other schools that were highly competitive? You know what I mean? Whether they were in the SEC or the Mountain West, if they're competitive, they're competitive. It's not their fault. They're strapped with the fucking division they're in or the conference they're in.
You know how I feel about college football?
I
don't give a fuck.
I figured.
Don't give a fuck. There's only 2 times I've cared about college football, and one when I was really young and played Pop Warner football, and we would go watch the Aztecs when they had Marshall Faulk as the running back.
Oh, you were there when the Rock stormed the field and beat up the Aztec.
I wasn't there.
That was the same time.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, I was 8. I was 8 or 10. I don't remember the Rock.
Hey, virtue signal received.
All right. And then the second time was when I was around, 19, 20 years old and watching Michael Vick play for Virginia Tech.
Dang.
That's the only time I cared about college football.
He came here to play ball?
No, I watched him on TV.
Oh, I thought
you should have been a Charger. They passed on him.
For who? LT?
Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson.
I mean, that's probably a good move.
How many Super Bowls did they win?
Matt, how many did Vic win?
Virtue signal received.
Yeah, I loved watching Vic.
Vic was the G.
It was amazing.
It's awesome watching Lamar Jackson though. Like as good as Vic was, he broke the mold, but watching Lamar is insane. Have you ever watched a Lamar Jackson game?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
It's silly. It's like Tecmo Bowl. Like the guy just runs around, does spins and circles, and I love it. I love it. I love watching someone completely change the way that you have to play a defense in the NFL.
Well, he changed that position. Yeah. I mean, there was a slightly racist attitude towards African American quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In the NFL way back. You had
even still there is.
I mean, I think it's you look at the quarterbacks now on the NFL. You got a lot of
that doesn't mean that the stigma's not there,
but it's going away. Don't ask for change overnight. Ask for change over time.
It's not. There's a big thing this year. Who was it? Adam, you would know. Who was it that got called out?
Hold on.
Dwayne Haskins got called out. Go ahead.
We agree that there was a racist thought process with African American quarterbacks back in the day.
Yes.
Now look at the NFL right now.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks are African American that are starters?
I'm not saying that they're not starters. I'm saying that the stigma is still there surrounding it. There's in the media. There's still people commenting on.
Well, fuck whatever people think. I'm talking about the head coaches, the general managers.
Anyway,
those are who are important. Whatever Joe Blow thinks out in fucking Wisconsin or wherever.
Hey, everyone voted for him for president.
It doesn't matter what that guy thinks. Yeah. It's the people that are hiring in the NFL and drafting and giving these people positions. That's who you should care about.
Got it.
But anyways, man, Michael Vick you had Warren Moon, you had Randall Cunningham, one of my favorite players back when I was a kid. I'm not sure, was it Cordell Stewart was kind of like back in the day?
Late 90s.
Yeah. And then who was next? Vince Young, I guess?
I don't know, but Michael Vick came into the NFL and said, watch this.
Yeah.
He was sick.
Yeah.
You ain't never seen nobody run like that on the field. He was like Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl.
Well, that's why I'm saying now, as crazy as Vic was, Lamar is that much faster. He's got that much more agility. Mm-hmm. He's fucking insane.
Well, you look at all these quarterbacks. I mean, who's that cat for the Cardinals? Arizona?
Kyler Murray.
Kid's sick. Who's that kid for the Eagles the other night?
Jalen Hurts.
He was looking good
until they benched him in the fourth
quarter.
Until
they benched him and they just decided to throw the game.
What do you think about that? So for anyone who's listening, whether you listen to watch football or not, here's what happened. The New York Giants were on pace to claim the NFC East championship. The Washington football team needed to win to take the throne, essentially. The Philadelphia Eagles were playing the Washington football team and were very close to making a comeback to beat them.
They were a touchdown down.
They pulled their starting quarterback to put in their backups.
After they went for it on 4th and 4 at the goal line.
Right, but they pulled their starting quarterback, put in a backup who's not even the backup. He's like a third string.
27-year-old backup.
27-year-old third string backup.
And he did not do
to finish up. Oh, but it was a complete tank job.
The fourth quarter of that game was like watching
it was a fucking circus.
Pop Warner.
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
So, is there a legitimate? I don't know. Is there something that can be done to the league if you're the Giants and you're like, dude, we have a complaint about it. Is there some kind of formal complaint that can be lodged about a team tanking? Like, could a team do that every game? Like, hey, we're only putting our third stringers in.
Could you prove that they tanked the game?
I think you can.
The problem, you can't prove tanking. Well, what about the instance where Pittsburgh rested all their starters when they played the Browns? Like, if the Browns needed to win and get into, but they faced the second stringers of the Steelers.
So what you're saying is the Eagles fucked over the Giants.
The Eagles fucked over the Giants.
Yeah.
No, there's a chance they could have lost that game fair and square. I don't think they would have lost, to be honest with you.
That game was obviously tanked. Like the Eagles threw that game at the very end, but they have a reason. They want the draft picks, right? They got moved up 3 spots,
it was like from 9th to 6th or something like that.
Which makes sense. I mean, if I was the coach and I was, they're like, hey, if I got the call from upstairs, hey, you're here next year, by the way, but we're gonna get 3 spots higher in the draft. Can you please just take the guy? I'm like, yeah, you're out.
But then that's the argument where you ask someone, are you for or against tanking? Because in the NBA they do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
They just throw out a shitty team. They're like, no, this is our team, and then they lose. But the NBA has a lottery. So if you're the worst team, you don't necessarily get the first pick.
Yeah.
But in football, it's like you very rarely see it. But, at the same time, like, I'm of the mindset that if my team is average or below that, I'd rather them get a lower pick, get a better player, and get better quicker than be somewhere in the middle and maybe get somebody good.
Yeah, and plus, it ain't the Eagles' job to help the Giants out. It ain't their job. You know what the Giants should have done? Should have won more games.
I got you. No, I get that. Let me ask you this though. Let's say that real life works that way. Let's just say real life works.
It does.
For whatever reason, let's just say real life works like the NFL. And your company, right? The company you work for. Let's say you're in sales or some shit, and you're a salesman. You're making all these sales, and the company goes, you know what though? We're really trying to hire this guy at the end of the year. But if we get too many sales, he's not going to sign with us because he wants to be the big shot star. So what we're going to do, Mike, listen, I know you're excited about all these sales and trying to hit bonus. We're going to slow down. We're not going to accept any more sales because we really want to hire this guy who needs to make more sales. Like if real life worked like that, you'd be fucking furious. Just like some of these people who are working like off of bonuses in the NFL, like, oh, if I get a certain amount of snaps, certain amount of catches, like there was a couple in the last game of the year, there's a couple guys who made their catch that put them over bonus, and they celebrated on the field. Was it Emmanuel Sanders? Am I thinking about with Breeze? Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, 88 catches. If he got 88 catches on the year, it bumped him up to another threshold. He got like $1 million bonus, right? Mm-hmm. But you're fucking with people's money. You're fucking with people's livelihood. Like, I just think that kind of stuff.
There was a thing in Seattle this week. I don't know if you saw that, but they were running out the clock, and there's one of the receivers. There was a clause in his contract. If he got one more catch, he'd make like an extra $40,000. So they called a knee, and Wilson audibled to get him a little touch pass. He'd get the catch, or he'd make an extra $40,000. So it's that kind of stuff. Like, and this is not like one of the like good receivers. It's like one of the third stringers. So it's that kind of stuff. You're like, all right, well, that was cool. Like, you just helped this boy out, make some extra money, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I would just think if I'm a professional, I would think if I'm a professional player, I'd be fucking annoyed.
No, it's actually pretty
working for that team. I'd be like, dude, really? Come on.
I was watching a documentary called like Ice Guardians on Netflix. It's about enforcers in the NHL.
Oh, sick.
And the NHL is kind of trying to move away from enforcers on their on.
Was it all domey?
No, but it was funny because a lot of these enforcers, if anybody doesn't know about hockey, enforcers are they're the police for your team. If somebody's taking your star player and checking them or kind of tossing them around on the ice, they send out the enforcer. The enforcer kind of sets that guy straight, and then you go about the game.
These guys are literally not good at hockey at all. They're literally just there to hit you.
Well, they're guys but they might be on the tail end of their career.
Yeah.
They might just be a tough ass guy that can skate and handle the puck a little bit. But they're necessary. They're very necessary. And so they were talking about how some of these enforcers, they're coming from the minor leagues, right? And they got to go up to the NHL, and they got to really prove their spot, right? So in this documentary, there's two enforcers at a face-off, and they're just like, one of them just goes, "Hey man, I got to get a fight in. I got to, pull my weight. I'm out here to fight, and like I got to get a fight in." And the guy looks at him and goes, "Okay, you want to do this?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, good luck." And as soon as that puck drops, they throw the gloves down.
They're mic'd up for this?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Wait, what year is this that they're like recording this?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look at.
I mean,
the timestamp.
They've had mic'd up athletes forever.
No, I know, but when you're watching this, like, is it like from like the early '90s or is it like recent?
It didn't look too recent. It probably might have been from like early 2000s.
Okay, got it.
But it was amazing. They're just like, "Hey, I got to do this, man." And he's just like, "Okay," because he's in the same spot. They all understand each other. Hey, man, if you don't prove your worth out here on the ice, you're gonna get dropped back down, or you're gonna get cut straight up. And they just, they go in and they just will start fighting each other on agreement, understanding like, hey, man, this is for your job because I'm gonna respect you and do this because I might be in the same situation one day and might have to ask you to fight on the ice. It's nuts, bro.
I wonder if at that point you're like, I'm going to throw a lot of body shots. You know what I mean? Like, this guy said, cool, like, okay, I'm going to pull it over your head. I'm going to be hitting in the chest. I'm going to hit you in your chest pad a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not throwing at the face. I'm not trying to knock your teeth out.
It's pretty interesting. They were talking about the techniques they use. And, I mean, obviously, you can't go to an MMA gym or a boxing gym and really learn how to box because you're not boxing in a boxing ring. You're boxing on ice, on skates. it's a different game. But these guys have to figure out any little tricks that
Bro,
work for them.
That's the number. That's going to be the 2021 workout trend. Is going to be you're going to get on skates and someone's going to teach you how to fight.
And just box.
Yeah, they're going to be like, all right, everyone wearing their jersey, awesome. Everyone pull the jersey over their head and just start hitting them in the fucking gut. You know what I mean? Like, throw uppercuts. It doesn't matter where you land them, just throw them.
Yeah, I recommend the documentary.
What's it called?
Ice Guardians, I believe.
Is that new?
I don't know how long it's been.
How
out.
did you find that? Some of the shit
I think
that people find.
You know how you just scroll through Netflix and because obviously you've kind of watched everything over
Yeah.
the past few months. You've watched everything and you're just scrolling, and then I played hockey when I was younger, and I was like, well, who doesn't like watching enforcers on the ice? Enforcers, and these guys aren't little. These are like cats that are like 6'5".
I used to watch Domi fights. I remember I must have been high school, after high school, something like that. Maybe it was high school. I don't know. I can't remember when Domi skated. I don't remember what he played. But I would watch Domi fights like in my spare time.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't YouTube. I don't remember what it was. But I would just find them, download them, like, oh, it's a sick fight. I have like 10 of them on my desktop. Like, oh, cool, I'm going to watch this fight when I'm bored.
Hockey's one of the greatest games to watch. And
So good.
If you're in person, it's the greatest thing ever.
Bro, here's why, right? You talk about you go into a football game, right? You hear the roar of the crowd and the atmosphere changes. There's a vibration in the air. You go to a hockey game, the atmosphere literally changes the second you walk to the door. It drops about 20 degrees in there.
Yep.
Well, especially in California. I don't know how it is out in Pittsburgh and shit, but I mean, you walk in the door of a hockey game, and it's way colder. There's a chillier. Yeah, it's incredible.
I've only been to 2 professional NHL games.
Get out of here.
It was the Blackhawks both times.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, so San Diego, obviously, we don't have an NHL team. We have the Gulls, which
yeah.
I don't know what league that is. It's fun. It's fun to watch. But yeah,
I've been
the
invited
NHL,
so many times, and I'm like, I don't want to see the Gulls play, dude.
yeah, well, it's fun. I find it fun to watch them because one, they don't live too far away from, or they play not too far away from me. But the NHL is it's just a whole different beast. My brother-in-law was like, we got to get there for the national anthem. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
For the Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
like, okay, like not really understanding, like, hey man, I love this country and I love being American, but
You don't get it.
I don't really, I'm not really, looking forward to the national anthem, But my brother-in-law was like, no, you gotta go. We got to make it there before then.
Right.
And man, he was right. That place thunderous. When this, so it's some kind of like opera singer that's been doing it for like 20 years for the Blackhawks, and yeah, man, it was nuts.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they one of the few teams that employ a technology on the ice that's like a 3D?
Yeah. They do like
Screen.
graphics.
Yeah, but it looks like, all of a sudden the ice breaks away and it's going into a black hole and stuff like that. Like they can do crazy graphic.
Yeah.
It's not just a flat graphic. they could play
Like 3D
stuff that fucks
yeah.
with your mind when you're watching
yeah.
it. It's pretty cool.
I can't remember exactly like if they did anything like that, but I remember the graphics, but I can't remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like with like the floors just falling or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was cool, man. I love going to Blackhawks games.
I'll tell you, man, I love hockey. It's so weird. Grew up, half my life was in Anaheim. Well, not half. Until I was about 10 was in Anaheim. So I was a huge Angels fan.
Mm-hmm.
No, not hockey at all. I went to a taping when they taped the Mighty Ducks at the
Fuck
pond. But other than that, I was an Angels fan. Moved out here, became a Padres fan instantly. It was I think it was like 96 too. So it was when the team started being, it was incredible at the time. Then as I grew up a little more, I'm like, dude, football is the shit. Look who we got. We had Breeze, we got Tomlinson, Gates, all these guys started showing. I'm like, man, football is incredible. Football is my favorite sport. And went to my first ever Ducks game and never looked back. I'm like, you cannot compare a hockey game, especially a good hockey game. Like, I don't know if your team's garbage. I couldn't tell you how good the game is to attend.
Yeah.
But if you're going to a good hockey game against two good competitive teams, like, man, that's really fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And man, I was Mighty Ducks when I was a kid. Great movie. Loved it. All of us were going for knuckle pucks.
Oh, knuckle puck time,
when we
bro.
were kids. Thought like it actually worked. It don't work.
It works. You did it wrong. That's the problem.
I probably did. I actually developed a pretty good slap shot when I was playing. That was kind of like my thing.
The slap shot guy.
Just fucking fire it at the goalie, man. And if it goes through, it goes through. But yeah, love playing hockey. Loved it.
One timer. That's my favorite.
What is that?
A one timer?
Oh, the
awesome to see.
It's cool.
No, it's awesome when you're watching a play develop and you see it happen. Holy shit, it's awesome.
You ever seen a triple deke?
Yes, I have.
1, 2, triple deke.
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez.
Yep.
Killed it.
Yeah. They're doing a remake of that or a sequel.
All right, that's because Hollywood can't come up with anything original
It's on
anymore.
Disney Plus. No, here's what it's going to be. It's a team taking on the Ducks. So now the Ducks are a powerhouse.
Oh, like they're the Hawks now?
Yeah, they've been a powerhouse for like 2 decades, and this new team is coming on to take on the Ducks. That's what it is. So whoever the Ducks were facing in the first movie, that's
the Hawks.
Oh, they're the Hawks. Yes.
It's like the Cobra Kai show. It's like, hey, you want to root for the other guy now?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Hey, on the way here, Adam and I, surprise, we started talking about conspiracy theories.
All right, here we go.
So let's hop into it. So,
I only believe the JFK conspiracy, and that's it. I'm not a flat earther. Get that out of here.
So what do you think? Is there anything we've managed to not talk about COVID this whole time? Is there anything about COVID that you think is conspiracy related?
I mean, I don't know.
Adam's shaking his head.
Obviously, the hospitals are really throwing around the death certificates with COVID on it because they get the federal assistance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
My brother. The reason I asked, my brother sent me a text today, and it was just about. It was from an actual conspiracy. It was from the conspiracy subreddit thing, and it was like, what did it say? It was like, after 9/11, when they, started the Patriot Act, they put a lot of laws in that they never took back. They said it was for like a time of war or whatever. That they just took away rights and instilled shit that they never pulled away from. Like our lives have changed and the type of security and all that, the tracking systems that they have in place, they never let up on it. They're just the way it is now. So they were saying, with the COVID restrictions and things that they're putting in place, talking about like passports. What are they saying? Like you have to have like your vaccination passports and shit like that. Do you think there's anything nefarious to that?
No, I haven't thought about that. I'm not much of a conspiracy guy, especially with like what's going on right now. The only thing that I do, I don't know if it was man-made, all this stuff. But the one thing I can only say is like, yeah, the hospitals are obviously trying to get some funding out of it, and that's about it, man. But I think
I thought you were going to say we're full, which I was agreeing with.
No, like them kind of marking up the death certificates as like a car accident, but the guy tested positive for COVID, so he's it's a COVID death. I think that's pretty easily provable. You're like, wait a minute, the guy got T-boned by an 18-wheeler. And you're saying he's, like that's kind of the stuff where, but
so our my daughter's friend's mom, like her little play date friend, her mom is a ER nurse, for a children's hospital. And they said that they've like all of a sudden like they're getting swamped with kids in there, which they never had at the beginning of this thing. She's like, she used to be like, at least we're not seeing kids with COVID. That's just not happening.
Yeah. And
she's like, there's so many now, like that they're inundated with kids there, and they've had to open up parts of the hospital to just seeing regular adults now.
Yeah, my wife has a couple of nurse friends, and they've kind of told my wife some stuff that you don't like hearing, and I'm not going to say it on the air because I don't want to be known as a person that's spreading misinformation or any kind of information on that stuff. But it's kind of interesting to hear, like from the frontline workers, obviously, because you can listen to the fucking news all day long, but what's their job is to sell you to keep watching, right? If you want real information, you go to the front lines. And these nurses and doctors are obviously front lines. They'll tell you the God's honest truth. They're watching it. They're dealing with it. It's been their life for the past year. So, yeah, man, COVID. But hey, we're talking about conspiracies. And what'd you want? You wanted to bring up. So you wanted to bring up COVID.
Well, it was that was what it was. And the reason he sent me that is because we were talking about something earlier in the week where I think it was the $600 checks or the $2,000 checks that went through or whatever.
Who fucking knows?
I haven't gotten it yet. I didn't get mine yet. So as a part of that, there was a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah, and I saw there was like a sighting of one over Hawaii or something like that.
Oh yeah, I saw it too. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, they're gonna listen, man. They're probably gonna be like, listen, yes, there's UFOs. I believe there is obviously aliens, right? There's another life form out in space. Space is a big place, and you'd be very ignorant to think that we're the only ones. Only ones.
Especially after Mandalorian. You know there's more.
Yeah, obviously. You know, but who is it? Is it Stephen Hawking said, we don't want aliens to come here?
Oh, fuck no.
Because history has shown the superior race will enslave.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at human history, and that's basically the narrative. So, do I want humanity to like make contact? Probably not.
Oh, I think for sure it's happened already.
Oh, we probably have, but I don't want like a full on like, hey, we got aliens come here to hang out with us.
Independence Day. I know this
Exactly. Exactly.
Look at they're so happy to see us. Oh, they're turning on the light for us. Oh, and then everyone's dead.
There's a show on HBO my wife and I just started watching called Raised by Wolves.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No.
It's on HBO Max, the new like app thing. So I don't know if it's regular HBO, but it's like these androids escape a planet and have to start a colony of like actual humans. It's fucking weird, but
I got a question for you. Let's get off the conspiracy stuff.
No, that happened. There's aliens.
Whatever. I got a question for you.
Yep.
You grew up, you know, all of us kind of grew up around the same time. Maybe there's like a 5 or 6 year difference, but hey, we basically kind of experienced the same style of living growing up. So my wife and I watched Dazed Confused the other night. I love that movie. I can watch it almost anytime it's on. Yeah. And we had I think my wife, or she asked me or I asked her, and I was like, would you rather, like, say like let's kids today, right?
Right.
Would you rather grow up nowadays, like if you were in high school, would you rather 70s. Be in high school this time or the late 70s?
For sure.
Exactly.
Way cooler. I
was talking to my neighbor who's like probably like, I don't know, he's like 45 or a little bit older than us, but I was talking to him and I was like, yeah, I watched Dazed Confused, and man, I miss those days where you could literally, you were off the grid. There's no cell phones. There's no, you know, social media. There's nothing like that. It's just you and your friends. Okay, hey, it's a Friday night or a Saturday night. Us three are hanging out. We're gonna go meet up with the rest of our friends.
We're gonna go get a 6-pack in the Mustang.
We called
meet up by the lake.
We called on our landline.
Right.
We called their house.
Right.
Your friend's house. Hey, meet here at this time, and then that's it, man.
I'd much rather do that.
You're off the grid. People, if you find somebody, you saw them face to face, and you know. Maybe there's like a meetup, like I don't know if you guys where you grew up, if there was like that spot in town where everybody just kind of met up, and you found like that was the social network. That was, you know, like, hey, what's going on tonight? Where is it at?
For me, it was mostly like I would like during the days, like we'd always understand like, oh, we're gonna meet up and play basketball at 4 every day, and we do it every day. Or tomorrow we're gonna play baseball, something like that. Like it wouldn't be like we wouldn't have to confirm. We're just like we all know we're gonna be there at the specific time. And if someone doesn't show up, then you know something happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I'd rather grow up in the time frame I grew up in than right now.
And then you only, like, you know, you're with your friends. That's your only entertainment, you and your friends. There's no phones. There's no like, hey, scrolling through social media or going on the internet and reading what's the news and all that kind of stuff. It's you and your friends, man, trying to have fun. And I seriously miss living like that. You know, just kind of being off the grid, like, and now I feel like it's almost impossible to live like that, because everything requires email.
I miss stuff as early as like 10 years ago when it was still much different than it is right now, where it's like you still didn't really have phones.
Yeah,
maybe 15 years. The flip phones were around. There was kind of internet, but it was like there was social media, but it was like MySpace. Yeah. So it wasn't like you weren't going online and seeing all this stuff and being bombarded with this stuff. Like even as far back as then, it's like, man, this is fun. Like I can hang out with my friends. We're not worried about. We're not all on our phones looking at the internet and stuff. But yeah,
give me YouTube and leave it at that.
Although YouTube is sick.
Yeah. But I remember even when like I think things changed with MySpace, but before MySpace, like no one was. I don't know, man. Even AIM. I remember kids would be on AIM and instant messaging all the time. Like people would be at home. I'd go to their house and they'd be on, a chick would be having like a conversation for 2 hours, like messaging like 40 people. Mm-hmm. It was still like the thing to do, like when AIM came around. It's like, I don't have to go see one person at their house. Like I could talk to fucking 20 people here. Yeah. You're like, Jesus Christ, get off that thing.
But at least, at least with that, you had to be on a computer or in the presence of a computer, right?
Which is kind of worse.
I mean, well, now I think it's worse now because your computer goes to everything you know, what we have in our iPhones, whatever computer you had, this thing has way more technology than that thing will ever have.
I'm aware, but I think the fact that you'd go home, seclude yourself to a room, the den, whatever room the computer was in, and then sit there in front of the computer. I mean, I knew people that would sit there, get out of school, do their homework, and then sit in front of a computer until like they go to bed on AAM, just chatting with people the whole fucking time.
That's probably what that loser Mark Zuckerberg did.
Probably. Whatever happened to that guy?
That's also what I really want to see what happens in about, I don't know, maybe 20 years with technology. Because think about it, kids like 3-year-olds, they know how to use an iPhone, no problem. Like they probably know how to use an iPhone better than their parents.
Have you seen Ready Player One?
Yeah, love it. Love that movie.
I think that doesn't. I mean the apocalyptic future seems pretty shitty, but I think the rest of it, I think that type of tech will be in our future.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you think kids,
I agree.
Do you think young kids today are going to be smarter than we are or dumber when things get further?
I think they're going to be smarter technologically. I think you're going to see like this incredible like just jump in technology, like innovation, I guess you could say. Are they going to be more socially awkward?
Yeah,
probably.
Because they're going to be annoying to be around.
Hopefully I'll be dead.
Because when we were going to school, you'd get your information from school and textbooks and stuff, and now you can just, when did this happen? On your phone, and you get the information. Math, you can just, what's this plus this plus this?
Yeah. How incompetent do new teachers feel? Like, because you got to think, like, now teachers are millennials, right? Essentially millennials and whatever, I guess, is newer than millennials are the teaching generation. But for kids that are coming in and the teacher's like, oh, hey, check this out. And exactly what Adam just said. Like, someone's like, oh, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
In the time it took you to write that on the board, I looked it up. I have the answer for you. Let me know when you're ready. Yeah. Write it down. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems that's pretty crazy.
It's nuts
how inconsequential being in a classroom is nowadays for someone to learn or go at their own pace. You know, I remember kids, this to me, and still to this day, kids that would take 5 AP courses and honors courses. I never understood it. I'm like, why? Why?
I was not one of those kids.
No, I wasn't either. But it was like, why? Why are you busting your ass to do all this shit? I understand. Maybe to you that's competition. You know, maybe you're like, oh, I like this competitive nature of learning instead of like sports or whatever. But for me, it was always like, you're gonna go to the same school, even if you're going to SDSU, right? Let's say you're doing that. You're getting all these other people going to SDSU. What are you gonna do once you're there? You're all doing the same shit. Mm-hmm. There's not AP college. You're just in college. You have to finish the 4 years of college before you do masters and shit. And it was always it was just always one of those things where some people learn out in different ways, and that when you're talking about how socially awkward they were, to me, seeing people do that and restrict their lives to like AP courses only, like 5-6 courses a day in schools, that was socially awkward to me. And I think it's getting worse because you don't need teachers to do that for you now. If someone wants to hone in on, I'm just going to do this now, I'm going to do all my school, I'm going to do my AP courses, I'm going to also do some junior class college courses as well. Someone can do that. If someone's in college or if someone's in high school right now during the pandemic, let's say they're a junior in high school, wouldn't you be signing up for college courses as well and just being like, fuck it, I'll take like 2-3 college courses a week as well?
I don't know. You know what's interesting is the 2 smartest guys that I know.
Thank you.
Not you.
Oh.
They didn't go to college.
Yeah.
It's weird. Just because you went to college doesn't mean you're smart. You know, I know a lot of dumb shits that went to college.
Thank you.
But it's interesting, like, you know, people think like, oh, he went to college, he's obviously educated, blah blah blah. And this person over here, they didn't go to college, maybe they just have a high school degree, and then they went right into the workforce. They're probably not as educated, right? But that's the weird thing, man. Is just because you went to college doesn't mean you're a genius.
It's the problem with perception now. It's because you spent 4 years at some college, you're obviously smarter than somebody else.
Yeah,
I think that went I think that went to the wayside around 98. Once the internet started taking off and taking over, I really do think that once the internet age took over, college kind of...
No, because it still matters for people who are trying to get jobs and stuff.
No, I know, but I'm saying like actually educating a person, and like he just said, oh, that person went to college, they're a smart guy. I don't think after 98, unless you were getting an advanced degree, a master's, a doctorate, something like that. I just think a regular bachelor's degree, especially an associate's degree, those don't really mean shit anymore. I mean, I've been there. The type of education that you get, it's not phenomenal. It's nothing crazy.
Oh yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
As a person,
like something as I grew up, I kind of noticed like, hey, two of the smartest guys I know, they have no college degree, and one of them is a millionaire, and the other one is just kind of like a dude that is like a day-to-day work guy. And he's just smart as fuck. And how do I know that? Because I played Jeopardy against this guy for 6 years, like multiple times a week while we were at work. And he's smart as fuck. Yeah. Smart as fuck, man. So, but yeah, I do think in the next decade or so, you're gonna technological advances, incredible. Social awkwardness, I think, is going to be very prevalent. So you know what's weird? Have you ever met you ever knew like a homeschooled kid?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you ever notice like something a little weird?
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked when I was in the bar industry. I would work the front door. I was the head of security. I'd have to handle a lot of different personalities that were upset. And this one guy that I worked with, he was homeschooled growing up. So there's a lot learned in that social environment of school, right? We all probably went through it. You probably had a girl you liked that didn't like you. Maybe you had to get into a fight. You had an argument. You had a disagreement. You had all this kind of stuff. Maybe some kid wanted to kick your ass and you were like, fuck, I'm going to get my ass kicked. I got to talk my way out of this, right? So you got to learn how to like handle all these situations that are going on. And it's good. It's good because this is stuff that's going to help you grow. And in the future, you're going to see these situations again, and you're going to understand how to handle it, right? You know how to handle, talk to people, and handle situations. So this guy, he was so funny. So he was homeschooled, and he was a good employee. He was a great employee. But it was funny because whenever somebody would like start giving him shit, like giving him lip, maybe for not getting let in or being asked to leave or anything like that,
call his mom.
He would, they would start to get loud, angry at him, and he would just be like, I don't know how to handle this. You could just see it in his face. He doesn't know how to handle this. And I would step in and take care of the rest. But I started noticing like that's probably why, man, because he was homeschooled. He was never in these situations growing up, which I think is a valuable lesson, man. Valuable lesson, even more than just learning geometry or something like that. Like, how often are you going to learn or use geometry throughout your life day by day? But you are going to have social interactions every single day. You're going to have problems that you're going to have to like overcome and figure out how to solve them when you're dealing with people that like maybe have a different view than you, and you have to come together and compromise. So that's a huge thing I believe about with school and being in person. Man, these kids are screwed right now.
Yeah, I think I've noticed with my 3-year-old even, like, because she was, I think we've talked about it, so I won't go into too much detail, but she was very outgoing. She did a lot of like ballet classes and games with kids, just any type of class you could do with a kid to sign them up for, she was doing it. Mm-hmm. And she just misses that social interaction a ton. And the first couple months where everything was closed down, like she was like totally different person. Sucked. Yeah. Really shitty.
Well, you look at it, man. So, okay, these kids can't go to school, can't see their friends. Youth sports is not going on, right?
Nope.
there's another outlet. You know, like, man, I feel bad. Obviously, you know, you have a young girl. You know, these kids need to be stimulated mentally, physically. Like, they got to like go get energy out. You know, and man, it must be tough being a parent right now because.
I've done some tea parties this week.
Have you?
Yeah.
With the tiara on?
No, I had a cowboy hat. I had a Woody cowboy hat, a little one. The tea party. I'll tell you who it was with. So just so you understand how good of a tea party this was, Elsa,
Sick.
Anna,
Frozen,
Tinkerbell.
All right, going all the Disney princesses.
And Woody. Woody was there.
Huh.
So
out of left field, Woody's there.
Well, you know what I mean. I invited him. One of the dudes spiked his tea. There's a snake in my boot. Shut up, Woody. You're drunk. Oh.
Let's try.
Do we have any?
We have a lot of questions.
Really?
Let's answer a goddamn question.
Any new people or same people?
I think there's a couple of new people. So this one I'm going to ask because it was posted the day after we recorded the 50th episode.
All right.
So this is from Fine Roman. He looks like he's a level up student.
He's an announcer.
Yeah. So
What up, Roman?
as always, when you guys ask these questions, sometimes Devin or Mike might not have anything to. They might not have an opinion on it or whatnot. So just remember that when you ask these questions. Don't feel like bad. The first question is, he has 4 separate questions in this one thing.
Sick.
So
You got to subscribe to our Patreon to ask that questions.
So what do you feel is the best pay-per-view that WWE put out? So in general, like, what's a pay-per-view that you enjoyed when you were younger? Like, what's your favorite?
Like this, like a single point in time.
Like, for instance, WrestleMania 17 is a go-to for most people.
Got it.
So what's yours?
I'm a Royal Rumble guy. That's my pay-per-view.
But is he asking
year.
you to pick one specific one?
You can pick one, or you can just say that's your favorite one in general.
That's just my favorite pay-per-view. I can't tell you one exactly pay-per-view. But I look forward to the Royal Rumble every year, just because it's an interesting match. You know, the surprise entrances are always fun. That's about it, man. What about you, Dev?
Yeah, Royal Rumble was my. I mean, back in the day, I loved Survivor Series, but that's when everyone was a star, and now you have everyone's just a regular guy that wrestles.
Yeah.
So when everyone was a star, I loved Survivor Series. So after that, until about the end of the Attitude Era, that's when I really loved Royal Rumble. That's when I thought Royal Rumble shined. Now, after Royal, yeah, that's it. I mean, WrestleMania is all it is now. But if I had to pick one in particular, which it sounds like is what you're asking, I really liked WrestleMania 20.
There you go.
His second question: which perennial jobber is a favorite of yours?
Hardcore Holly. I liked him for a long time. I'm gonna finish this out real quick. He had a brief world title feud with Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. I think this was after he got hurt when he went through the table. Maybe not. I don't know.
No,
after he broke his
way
neck or
before.
some shit.
That was after he broke his neck.
After he broke his neck. I really bought into that run, hook, line, and sinker, because he's a legit badass.
Yeah.
And if you can go back on the network and find it, I thought it was very well done. I don't think it was received well by the audience at all. But for me, at least, I thought it was really well done, and I liked watching him in that spot.
Actually, I want to talk some about Hardcore Holly. So remind me. Gilbert is probably like the greatest jobber of all time. Hilarious, just and totally. It's WWE giving the finger to WCW. You know, during the war.
Spike was probably the best worker, though, right? Like the jobber who could like.
I don't know if he was a greatest worker, but the motherfucker took some.
But that's what I mean is like he put in his time. As a jobber, like he got the job done. Like what do you want? We need a babyface comeback. That's, you know, the crowd is actually behind. As a jobber, the crowd was always behind him. I don't think he ever didn't have the crowd. Oh,
yeah. Actually, one time I was doing extra work, Gilbert was
really
present. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, it was sick, dude. It was so funny because I walked right by him and like I didn't even recognize him. Somebody had to like tell me, and I was like, "Oh shit, that is."
That's funny.
And I kind of started marking out because I was like, dude, Gilbert was sick back in the day. WCW, probably Norman Smiley. Norman Smiley was the shit. The big wiggle.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is like Norman Smiley, considered a job guy, but was probably the best pure wrestler on the card. Right?
That's what most people say now. That's why he's a trainer.
Yeah. And you look at all the job guys; they're all trainers now.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that could really work.
I don't remember him ever getting legit push. Maybe he had a brief title run. Was Glacier ever like?
I think they had big plans for Glacier, but then the NWO
I fucking
NWO
loved him.
opened. Yeah. Oh, I loved Glacier.
him, dude.
Yeah.
I think for some reason I feel like he had the U.S. title or the TV title.
I'm sure he did.
But I fucking
everybody
loved
at some
him,
point.
man.
I think WCW held the mid-card title.
That's the one thing I hated as a kid watching WCW is I felt like titles meant nothing because there's so many titles.
Yeah. So back to Hardcore Holly. Somebody posted a little clip of him the other day, and it's him.
Yuma, I think.
Yeah, and it was him. Like Angle was getting beat up, and Hardcore Holly comes back and just starts cracking people with a chair.
Yeah,
like solid.
I think that was during his main event run.
Yeah, that was when he came back.
Solid chair shots, like shotgun blasts.
Yeah,
and I'm thank God, man.
In the head.
Oh yeah, this is Attitude Era. Or no, this might have been like the Ruthless
2003.
Aggression. Yeah. But I mean, I forgot who it was, but he blasts these motherfuckers with this.
I think one of them was Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
because I think Matt Hardy posted it too.
Now I got a question for you. So like, there's a lot of dumb gimmicks, right? Somebody goes like, "Hey, this is my gimmick." I
drink beer and I hit people with a cane.
It's over. Like, hey, and now you have to do it because you're paired up with them, and it's kind of expected, and you got to be the good brother, and you're gonna have to take this. Whatever
really
move or whatever gimmick, right? No, hold on, let me finish.
What are you Infinity Gauntlet talking about?
So you got to do this kind of, and let's get it. Let's get this right. Today's day, there's a lot of hokey shit, right? A lot of stupid stuff where you're like, this is stupid. It's not realistic, but okay, let's do it. Because I don't want to get the rep as the person that didn't want to, do the good brother.
But back then, they're like, I'm gonna hit you with chairs.
So I got a question. What if somebody was like, hey, this is my gimmick. I fucking pat you on the ass, I ride you like a goddamn horse, do all this stuff, right? And you just go, okay, cool. Yeah, if that's your gimmick, let's do it. Yeah, I'm 100% on board. Okay, I'm starting this new gimmick too, where I hit people with chairs. Like what? Like now, legitimate question. Like, what if you had your opponent was like, hey, Dev, I need to slap you on the ass. I need to ride you like a horse. I need to do all this stuff. All this really like lame ass shit. What if you countered with, okay, I'll do all that, but I have this. I'm trying to get this new gimmick over, and what I do is I go and grab a chair.
I just hit
people. And I just start landing heavy shots,
headshots.
So we'll get your stuff in,
right?
And then I'll powder out. I'll grab a chair and I'll come in and I'll crack you a few times, and
that's it. Then we'll go home.
What if somebody did that? What if somebody like that was their counter to whatever dumb gimmick was out there?
I mean, I don't think the spots would happen either of them. Nowadays, I don't think that would happen.
What do you mean, like riding like a horse?
No, if someone said that and the other person was like, "Cool, yeah," and then I do this, and then I do the chair shots after that, I think they'd be like, "No, I'm not going to do the chair shots." They'd be like, "Well, I'm not going to do the horse."
That could be your counter, right? Like, hey, if you don't want to do my gimmick,
I'm not doing yours
because I've got a hardcore gimmick. I've got a hardcore gimmick.
Can we be hardcore now? The hardcore hogs?
Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, hardcore 2021, hogs. Man. You're the hardcore hogs.
Do not Google that, everyone.
And you get a chair shot. And you get a chair shot. And you get a chair shot.
It's like the wet bandits, but this year we're the hardcore hogs.
We're the sticky bandits.
We're the sticky hogs.
God,
that's so don't Google that either, guys.
We're Home Alone 2. We're the sticky bandits. We've upgraded. But anyways, I was just after I watched that clip of Holly just blasting people with chair shots, I was like, what if you had a stupid gimmick that you had to work with in the ring, and they were like, hey, I'm going to do all this. I'm going to give you a noogie. I'm going to do all this shit, and then you were like, okay, cool. You're going to make it look like an asshole, and then I'm going to have mine.
Yeah, dude, I forgot to show you. I brought this bat. It's covered.
I have this bat. It's covered in barbed wire,
but it's real. It's real though.
I don't want to do that old like that worked little shot to the gut.
It's only on the
with
back.
the butt of the the bat. I'm gonna swing this thing.
So what do you do? I just want to show you what I do. So all right, you do that. I bring a bucket to the ring that I put with hot wax, and then I dip my hands in tacks, and then I just brawl on you for like 15 minutes. But I want you to fire up. I'm gonna brawl on you, but I want you to stay hot. I want you to stay on. You're on fire still.
What if you just so you get presented a stupid gimmick, and then you're like, okay, excellent. All right, well, check this out. I have this, and you go into your bag and you just pull out like a bull whip, and you're like, I'm trying this new cowboy
I'm
gimmick.
trying to get this over.
And so I'm gonna have to hit you with this. Like,
wait, what if that was like the new thing? Like, what if we got the listeners, and I know a lot of them are still students all over SoCal. Like, just do that. Just start carrying a gimmick weapon in your bag, and then when someone gives you a shitty idea, you just tell them that, okay, cool, I have to get this over too.
This is my new gimmick. It's in its infancy.
Gonna get over.
Haven't really polished it out yet. Haven't really gotten these chair shots down yet. But,
actually, I haven't tried them on anyone. That's about every spot. That hey, I want to try this out. Oh, cool. Have you done it before? No. I just want to try it out.
Well,
Sick.
I went out to the ring earlier, and
I think I can nail it.
I think I can do it. I was checking the ropes. I think I could do it.
Yeah. Did you hit the ropes? No, there's people in the ring.
No. I just kind of like shook the ropes, and I could tell.
Warriored it to like a very small degree.
Yeah. Anyways,
you had 3 more questions from that.
No,
one.
this is part 3 of his question.
Jesus.
Favorite NWA WCW title match pre-Hogan. So maybe this is for more Devin.
Oh, I didn't watch.
I can't think of anything either.
I didn't watch NWA or.
I mean, I'm such a.
Just name something with Flair.
I'm such a Flair mark. I'm just such a Flair mark. I mean, really, I could go back and watch anything Flair. Sting, I liked old school Sting.
The answer is Flair Steamboat. Anything.
Yeah, Flair Steamboat. Flair Sting was great. Flair Luger had some good ones.
Fuck yeah, the narcissist.
Yeah, this is before he was a narcissist.
He was always a narcissist, bro.
That's true. I forgot to say that. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just such a fan of Flair that my answers aren't going to be inspiring you to go back and look at anything new. So
yeah. Next question.
All right, so this is the final part of his question, and I'm going to change this a little bit. He asked the question: any movie franchises that you'd recommend? Now, I'm going to say, let's just not go Star Wars or Godfather or anything. What's like a movie franchise that you like that most people wouldn't say?
Franchise means like multiple movies.
Multiple movies, so like the Godfathers or Star Wars, stuff like that, but something that's not those, because those are the easy answers.
I mean, obviously the John Wick movies are sick.
Never seen them still.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta watch them.
Really good. A lot of lucha libre in those movies.
That's what I heard.
You know what's funny, as you know, when you always get told like, hey, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? And obviously, I think in the wrestling community, it's usually going to be like a Star Wars answer, right? Or some kind of like science fiction, maybe something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe a comic movie, related movie.
Right.
You know, but you miss all, like, some of my favorite movies are just those movies that you would never guess.
Right.
My wife and I watched Clueless the other night. That movie
Bomb.
will always be good. Always be good.
What's weird too is that that movie, timeless. Also, the actor in that movie, you know who I'm talking about? Timeless. Hasn't changed. Same age the whole time.
Wait, you're talking about Rudd.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd looks the same as he did.
He recorded that movie last year.
Yeah.
They de-aged his character and he looks like he did now.
But there's so many good movies like that. Like Bring It On, one of my favorite movies ever.
Really?
Oh, dude, you ever seen Bring It On?
I don't think so.
Dude,
great movie.
So that's
Kirsten Dunst. I'm sure I would have wanted to watch it.
It's a cheerleader movie. And I remember when it came out, I think I was in high school, all the cheerleaders were like all about it. They all went in like their squads to the movie theater and watched it. And I was like, you guys are lame. Like, I'm not going to watch that movie. When it finally came out like on VHS, watched it, laughed my shaft off. And I was like, I can't believe
it's a funny movie.
It's one of the funniest movies you've ever seen in your life.
I would have never guessed that. I would have never known it was a funny movie.
Especially, like it's based when we were in high school. Right. So, you can relate to it a lot.
Right.
But I love that movie.
Around the same time, I'd go with the American Pie franchise.
Yeah, those didn't age well. You watch those now and you go, this movie's fucking
gives a
stupid.
shit. Half the wrestling you watch nowadays.
No, but you watch
well.
like I said, you watch Clueless, you watch Bring It On. Those will never get old to me. Yeah. They'll never get cheesy and lame. Like the American Pies, the only reason you should watch really the American Pies is for Stifler.
For some reason, I laugh really hard in Clueless with the very sad Rolling with the Homies.
Rolling with
when
the
she's
homies.
sad and she's doing it. That's fucking hilarious.
Shout out to Coolio.
Pretty obscure movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Is Van Wilder?
Yeah, I didn't really
Ryan
get
Reynolds.
into it though.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw Ryan Reynolds. I think that movie's fucking hysterical.
Oh, you ever seen him in Waiting?
Good movie.
Yeah,
Waiting's great. If you ever worked in the bar or restaurant industry, that movie just hits hard.
For me, it was the franchise. It's what's the question again?
Just recommend a franchise.
Recommended movie franchises.
The Cornetto trilogy.
The what is it?
Cornetto trilogy.
Never heard of that.
So Cornetto is an ice cream.
Uh-huh.
Cornetto trilogy was the Edgar Wright movies that he made with help me out, with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. So you have three of them. You have Shaun of the Dead was the first one.
All right.
The second one was Hot Fuzz, and the third one was the alien movie. Shit, I can't remember the name of it.
Well, Seth Rogen.
No.
Yeah, Seth Rogen plays the
No. It was an alien invasion movie, not the
You're talking
one.
about the one where they go pub.
Yeah,
the
pub
crawling.
The pub crawl.
I don't know the name of the movie.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I mean, franchises.
Are those franchises though? I mean, I don't think they're connected, other than by maybe the same person made it.
What was the other one? World's End.
World's End.
They are supposed to be somewhat connected. It's the same production. It's the same staff. It's the same cast and crew. I consider it a franchise.
Yeah. I mean,
they all consider it part of the same. They sell them in box sets. They're all the same box set. Watch the Cornetto trilogy. It's the same writers and shit.
I think the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is one of my favorite franchises.
Have you seen any of those? Have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
No, I don't care.
Get the fuck out of here! You've never seen Shaun of the Dead?
You've never seen Bring It On, so we're at a standoff.
We got
right
homework,
now.
guys. Next week.
I've seen Not Another Teen Movie, and they make fun of.
Oh my god, Not Another Teen Movie. There's a fucking classic.
There you go.
I will laugh my balls off every single time that movie's on.
Listen to me.
I'm not watching your Shaun of the Dead movie.
Why wouldn't you watch Shaun of the Dead? You don't even know about it.
I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
No, you're not cool. You haven't seen Shaun of the Dead.
No, I'm cool.
No. Stop. This movie's hilarious. It has heart. It's fucking phenomenal. This movie's great. Watch the movie. There's no reason. This isn't like you're not taking a cool stance. You're not like a cool guy for taking a stance against this movie.
Yeah. I'll get back to you on that.
Holy shit. Watch the movie.
What else have we got?
Your wife would love that movie.
Terminator 1 and 2. Obviously the great.
All right,
Terminator
what's the
2
next
is the
question?
greatest goddamn movie you've fucking ever seen. Terminator 2. I think that's about. I mean, what other kind of?
You like Keanu Reeves, and in Hot Fuzz, which is the second part of...
Which brings me to The Matrix.
Oh,
the
Jesus.
Matrix trilogies, there's a great franchise.
You can't say don't talk about Star Wars and all that shit and then throw The Matrix in there. That was just as big as Star Wars.
Okay. But yeah, The Matrix is sick.
Oh, Jesus.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus, and then the newest one, there's a good franchise. Okay, cool. I'm good with that's all my franchises. There you go. What else we got?
All right, so this next question is from Petey Skeeves.
Fuck
Hopefully
you,
Devin
I'm not
decides to
watching Shaun
participate in the rest of the podcast.
Great movie.
All right, start
Great.
that over, Adam.
We're talking about other stuff now. Hail and well met hogs, whatever the fuck that means.
Don't ever say it again, Petey.
It's the winner of the Virgin Rumble here with another question. What's the strangest coincidence that's happened to you personally?
Devin, I'll let you take that one because I don't know, man. Coincidence? A coincidence. Let's see. Adam, you might have to edit out the pause.
Yeah, no, it's
silence.
fine. It's fine.
Dead air. I don't know, man. Petey, that's what happened to booking a Virgin Rumble?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's just, I wish I would have known that beforehand. I could have actually tried to think of a coincidence.
All right, so the next question is
I don't know, man.
from...
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for that, Petey. Sorry, bud.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's the camera guy, the guy who takes pictures, FAU.
Oh, Foul.
Foul, okay. That's what I thought, but this is from him. He asked, what is your best drop the mic moment you've had?
I don't even know if I've ever had a drop the mic moment. Dev, have you ever had a drop the mic moment?
Every time I cut a promo.
There you
His
go.
promo with Chris Bay.
Oh,
is the
man.
answer.
No, Dev has one of the greatest lines ever on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood history. It's when Kathy Kelly had just got booked, or she had just got picked up by the Fed. WWE.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Kathy Campanelli, or another girl. No, it was before Kathy Campanelli. It was another girl. Who I can't remember her name.
I don't know who it was.
Anyways, I wasn't even. We weren't even really good for. I mean, we were probably cool with each other.
We rode up there together.
Yeah, but I wasn't even there for this. I saw it on TV.
Oh, did you?
So this girl is interviewing Devin and goes, "Hey, Devin Sparks, your opponent tonight is blah blah blah. How do you feel about it? You know, the generic shit." And Devin just goes, yeah, thanks, Kathy Kelly. And then just rips into a fucking promo. Just no soul that he just completely called her the wrong name of the girl that I laughed my fucking ass off.
Was it Arkady?
No, I think it was some.
Bro, what was funny was it popped the whole room.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like there was an audible pop because there's people waiting on stage for their turn and people had to leave the room because they laughed so loud. And yeah, that was a good one.
I don't know if I've ever had a drop the mic moment.
I actually got I think I got critiqued from Dave Marquez after that, where he was like, yeah, that was a good line, but promos don't have to be like in such a wrestler format. Like you can be, more. You could be more you. You know what I mean? Like, because you see the promo, you see people in character, in gimmick, and after that he used it like, I don't know what I did, but he's like, oh, you could be more yourself too. I'm like, I don't know, man. I like that one.
I just love that opening line where you blatantly called her the wrong name because it matched the character.
Well, what's funny, she had no idea it was coming.
Yeah.
So
I remember her facial was like pretty funny.
Yeah.
Drop the mic moment. God damn. Who Fowl? By the way, Fowl is a photographer out in Phoenix. He's a great photographer. He's done photos for Dev and I. God, man. See, I'm not very witty. So I don't know how to burn people.
I don't know. I still thought the line that you did, we talked about, I think it was last week, but on Jimmy Jacobs before your match.
What did I say?
You told him in the promo you had said the line about how you look too much like an indie wrestler or something like that. He stole your opportunity. Yeah. But he said he looked like too much like an indie wrestler. Whatever it was, he didn't know it was coming. And so for me, it was the reaction on his face.
Oh, I can't remember what I said to him. Yeah. I just remember I was like, he's a pretty well-known talker.
Yeah.
And I remember, I can't remember what I said to him prior to the match. In the promo, and then he took the mic, and I was like, oh, he's about to fucking destroy me, right? I'm about to get lit up right here, and he just doesn't say anything. He just goes, they could listen to me talk, but I think they'd rather see me fight, and just throws a punch at me. And I was like, oh, that was so nice of him to do that.
Yeah,
so
thanks
nice.
for the shine.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I wish I had a drop the mic moment. I don't know if I ever had. Devin obviously burning the interviewer. That was probably his. That was great.
Yeah, thanks.
I wish you need a clip of that.
I don't even know how to find these clips. I have no idea what episodes I was on. I was probably on like 50, 100 episodes. I have no idea where they can be located. I have no idea. Like, there's not like, a database where I could just type. I know there's like a steel cage or something where you could type in your name and it shows, but they never have my matches on there, correct?
No.
But yeah, all those episodes I was on for Championship, gone off the face of the earth as far as I'm considered. I can't find them.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for the sending the question. I wish we had better answers for you.
All right, the next one is from the Big Guy 87, and his question is, what is the best Mexican food place you've had in San Diego County?
Growing up, there's a place in Ramona called Manana's. That's where everybody went. My wife actually, I've taken her there, and she loves the chicken burrito, and that's what I used to always get when I was growing up. So Manana's in Ramona. That's an incredible place. There's a place in San Diego or in PB called Taco Surf. Fantastic breakfast burritos.
There's a place in Poway that people used to skip for Poway High. The seniors used to skip in the morning or in the afternoon or lunch. Or they would just skip class and go get there all the time. It was just called Taco Shop.
Nice.
That was it. It was so fucking good.
Why you gotta get fancy with it?
Their flautas were amazing.
Call it what it is, man.
I don't get flautas anymore. No one makes good flautas. This place had like incredible flautas. Like you would go there to get flautas. So good. And there's hot sauce. If you get hot sauce right, it almost doesn't matter what you're serving.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like you can't go to fancy Mexican restaurant.
No.
You gotta go to the taco shops, man. You gotta go.
The more hole in the wall looking, the better the food will probably be.
Exactly.
My least favorite thing is my grandparents. I'm talking about like junior high and high school here. Is my grandparents would come in from out of town, from Arizona, and they we're gonna go out for Mexican food tonight. Be like, yes, and we'd go to some big fancy Mexican restaurant
on the border.
Yeah, no, some big fancy Mexican restaurant, and we get terrible enchiladas and like whatever the hell else is like the special for the night. I'm like, why did we do this? This is trash.
Yeah,
like this tastes like shit.
It's the American Mexican.
Oh, they just cover it in mole sauce and like beans and rice. Like, hey, was that good? I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
It's like pretty not good. Oh.
But yeah, those are my Miñanas was awesome.
Ibertos. There was an Ibertos by my house.
Taco surf. I'm a big Santana's fan.
That's good. I feel like that's the problem is there's so many good ones.
The funny thing about Santana's is that it goes back and forth from MXN to Santana's. Like every week it'll have like a new sign.
Really?
It'll go back and forth between MXN and Santana's. There's this place in PB, I swear to God, they're probably laundering money through it. I can't remember what it's called because it's called something new every other month. It's so funny. And you're like, yeah, they're probably like laundering some money through there.
Watch Better Call Saul and they figured it out.
Dos Pollos.
Through the Mexican restaurant.
What was it? Los Pollos.
No, it's different. On Better Call Saul, there's literally like a Mexican restaurant where these guys are
what was the one
drugs. Los Pollos Hermanos.
Los Pollos.
Come on, bro.
You know what?
Test me on Breaking Bad.
Going down to Mexico, like when I was a kid, we go to like Rosarito after I turned 18.
Right.
And those little taco carts on the side of the road.
Bomb.
The greatest thing you've ever had in your life.
I like the just like the shredded beef, but burnt shredded beef. Like,
yep.
Don't give me like cooked shredded beef. I want you to burn the shit out of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So good.
That's the way it is with most things. Like with pizza too, you can go find a random hole in the wall pizza place, and that's probably going to be better than.
Are you stuck up about your pizzas?
No, I'm not stuck up, but like at the same time, I'm like, I'm in the mood for real pizza, or I'm in the mood for like I'll have Papa John's or Domino's. But
really?
If I want real pizza, there are places by my house that are good.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. I don't go. Well, I can't eat this because it's not New York pizza.
See, I'll tell you what, man. For pizza, I have a different sensibility about pizza than most people. I enjoy like the weirder pizza, like I guess it'd be more California-based pizzas. Like barbecue chicken pizza is my favorite pizza, but like most people be like, that's not pizza. Barbecue chicken pizza.
Well, it's because we're Southern Californians. We're like we don't even like get an opinion when it comes to
yeah,
pizza.
No shit. I went to oh man, I wish I remember the name of it. So when I was out in OVW in Kentucky in Louisville wrestling, my brother came with me, and we had family out there apparently out in Louisville, Kentucky, cousins and uncles and shit. And we told them we were in town. They're like, "Oh, we want to take you to." I'm drawing a blank. Can't remember the name of it. Sure, let's go there. Yeah, it's a great pizza place. You're gonna love it. We get there. The pizza is like 3 inches thick.
Yep.
And it's like basically lasagna.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, how good is this?" I'm like, "Man, this tastes like shit." I'm just thinking like, this is fucking awful.
I'm sure you've had pizza like that in Chicago,
This
right?
is so awful.
Yeah.
But
that's a Midwest thing, I think.
Man, the name is on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
But I was just like, dude, this is terrible. Like, take it home. Take it home. You guys are, you're here in town. You're wrestling. You need the extra calories. Like, take it home. And like, we took it out and we're like sick. They left. We're like, bye. And we just dumped it in the dumpster. We're like, get the fuck out of here.
You know what's funny about my wife? So my wife's from Chicago. I'm
Yeah.
sure I've said that multiple times on this podcast. So she's one of the people that gets an opinion on pizza. Am I correct on that? New Yorkers and Chicagoans, they get, they have the real opinions on pizza. So my wife is kind of like that a little bit. But you know what the funny thing is? Her favorite pizza, guess what it is?
Domino's?
Costco
Costco pizza is delicious.
It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
See, I'm
Wix. I just found it. Sorry, go ahead.
sick.
For anyone that wants to
See,
pizza.
I grew up in San Diego. Pizza to me, give me a $5 hot and ready from Little Caesars. Let's go. Let's party. I love it. I'm good with that. And then some people are like, ew, that's gross. It's not even real pizza. Bitch.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I can eat any pizza pretty much. I've never had a pizza I dislike.
There's no such thing as bad pizza.
No.
There's just some that are really, really good and some that are just good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
man.
that's it. It's the difference between really good and good.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And I've had some good pizza out in Chicago.
So I told you guys have heard the Colt Cabana story before. So my brother and I, when we ended up going up to the Chicago game, we watched the Angels and the Cubs play up in Chicago at Wrigley. Before we went up there, we were like, okay, we got to try. We went online to find the best pizza, like the best deep dish pizza and the best the best hot dog that you could get. We found out whatever it was online, and we checked with a couple different sites and went with whatever we thought out of those couple sites was the best of each.
Uh-huh.
The hot dog I thought was amazing. The pizza I was like, Like, really? Like, this is what's going on the front lines? Like, this is defending your honor, Chicago? Like, this is kind of like just whatever, man.
There's a place in Chicago called, I think it's called Wiener Circle.
Oh, dude, I'm in.
And it's in like...
that should be the name of the pod.
I think it's like around Wrigleyville. At least that's what my wife told me. And so, you guys might have seen it on like shows. It's a place where... like I'm pretty sure it's like a late night spot.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a bunch of drunks go walking into this place and they start talking shit to the employees, and then the employees talk shit back, but all the employees are black females. And it is so funny. The shit these girls are saying to these guys. My wife, I was like, Beth, we got to go here. And she goes, you don't want to go there.
Oh, fuck yeah, I do.
And I'm like, well, it sounds pretty entertaining. Like I got to experience this. And she goes, it's like, you know, like, it's almost disgusting, like how the place is, and just kind of how it's set up and ran, and like the interaction between like the employees and the customers.
Right.
And I'm like, but I have to witness this in person. You know, I couldn't talk shit to like somebody for no reason because they haven't gotten my hot dog out fast enough.
I can do it.
But I'll watch people.
Right.
I'll watch people talk shit to the employees and watch the employees talk shit back, and it seems pretty entertaining to me.
Well, have you ever seen those restaurants where it's like literally you go there and like the people that work there, like they're intentionally assholes to you.
Dick's Last Resort. I hated that place.
Yeah.
You want to hear about my first experience with that place?
I do.
So what Adam just said, Dick's Last Resort was in San Diego for years upon years. It's been out of business for a lot of years too now. But the gimmick is the employees talk to the customers, treat them like shit, right? They ask for something, they tell them, oh, you're stupid, but they still will get you your order and all that kind of stuff. And actually, it's quite annoying because people are throwing like stuff around, like paper balls and stuff like that. And like one table will throw it at like another table. It's just fucking out of control. But after I turned 21, we went to one of these. We went to it was downtown. And I was like, oh, cool. We get to like, like talk shit to the employees. Like, let's do this. So I walk up to the bar and I'm stupid. I like just turned 21 and I ordered a beer from the bartender. And I go, make it quicker, I'll make you wear it. And the bartender got serious on me. And he goes, I'm not serving you a beer. He goes, you better go ask another bartender. I'm not fucking giving you anything. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like, I thought this was supposed to be like fun. And he was just like, I ain't giving you shit. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. And so I went over to the other bartender and got it. But then like my one friend ended up getting like all fucked up and throwing up like in the fucking spot, like in the dining room area. And then we got him out of there. And then the dumb shit security guard shows up like 5 minutes later and goes, hey, that guy that was sitting right here, he's done for the night. And it's like, yeah, asswipe, he's already in a taxi on his way home. Like,
bro, you already got thrown over the top and both feet touched the ground. He's on his way to the back.
Yeah, like,
it's not happening.
But anyways, that was my but by the way, Dick's Last Resort, that place was terrible.
That place sucked. Hey, Adam, give him the next question.
Yeah, the next question is from SoCal Gabe.
What up, Gabe?
He wants to know, how do you guys feel about storylines in wrestling using the real life passing of wrestlers? Are you cool with it? Does it go too far? So the example he uses is when Eddie Guerrero passed away and Randy Orton did a promo against Rey Mysterio where he told them that he wasn't in heaven, he's in hell.
I thought that was Batista that did that.
No, it was Orton.
Oh, okay.
And then CM Punk did a promo where he dumped Paul Bearer's ashes on The Undertaker after Percy Pringle passed away.
I'm okay with it if the family okays it.
It's almost, it's one of those things where like I could see Percy being like, oh, that's funny, like do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think it might depend more on the wrestler or the person involved in the business, and like if they knew them well enough that like, oh, they would get a kick out of this, or like they would enjoy this, like. Because oftentimes, I don't think I've ever seen it done well. Like, I've never seen it done where I'm like, God damn, I'm glad they involved that person's dead brother.
I remember that CM Punk and Undertaker storyline with Paul Bearer after his death. And actually, I thought that was really well done.
Really?
And I think they got the okay from Paul Bearer's kids and family. But I thought it was done very well. I wasn't even really watching wrestling when the Eddie Guerrero one happened with that promo. Yeah. But I've seen clips of it. It's kind of cringy, but I don't know. Like I said, if the family gives it the okay, hey, then you asked, you got permission. As long as you didn't step over the line, and drag it on too. If you didn't go too deep with it, I think I'm okay.
I'd be happy if they never touched it again.
I remember a couple of years ago there was a promo, I think, with Paige and Charlotte where they brought up Reed Flair. Oh. And then Rick tweeted that nobody asked him if that was okay.
Yeah, that's not okay.
And, obviously they might have asked Charlotte, but what's she going to say in that scenario? She's probably going to say, yeah, that's fine. I don't want to lose my job. That's a problem. Like, she was still so young and early in the business that she's probably like, well, I don't want to lose my job or lose my spot over this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was really bad. I was like, I wouldn't do that. Like, especially with Reed when that circumstance was
and he wasn't really, he was wrestling.
He had a couple matches, I think, in Japan.
But it wasn't like a lifetime career where it's like, you would know that he would want, to this to be involved. I actually, like I said, if the family gives it the okay, Paul Bearer, who was like a lifelong, person that was involved in the wrestling business, he probably would have been like, yeah, go for it. Tommy Wilson, I remember we were training when I was, way back in the day. He brought it up. He goes, if I die, roll my dead body out into the fucking show. Because Tommy's, that's Tommy's personality. He's like, hey, if I die, use me as a gimmick. Use me as a storyline.
I think as a rule, it's probably best to stay away from it. Just because I don't think it's going to be memorable. I don't think it's going to add anything. I don't think, anyone. What's the best that could come out of it, and what's the worst? Is it going to be a defining moment for a person in their career? Like, maybe if Brett was never made, if Brett was the shittier wrestler, and then Owen died, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to talk shit about Owen, you're going to defend his honor, and then you're going to become like the Brett, the Hitman Hart that people know and love. Like, if it was a defining moment for someone, sure. But other than that, I really don't think there's a good way of making it super entertaining for people that's not just going to be kind of like, eh.
Well, someone used the excuse that using the Eddie Guerrero death helped propel Ray to becoming a main eventer.
I don't know
it's
that
one
it
of those
did.
things, but I don't know if it did either. But he definitely changed probably their plans for WrestleMania at that point.
Yeah, that's
so
for sure.
He probably wasn't going to win the Royal Rumble initially, but you never know. And then he ended up winning the title. He had a good run, and then he kind of became a main eventer.
Was that a triple threat main with
Angle, Ray, and
Triple H?
No, Angle, Ray, and Orton.
Okay, Orton.
Oh, Orton won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I have no problem with it if the family okays it.
I don't have any problem with it. I just don't think it's ever really.
Does it add anything? Probably not.
No. I think my issue is more with bad writing. So unless you have a good writer on it, it's probably gonna suck. So.
Cool. Is that it?
We have one more question.
All right, sweet. So, got a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, I know. We can probably answer this one pretty quickly. We've kind of talked about it before. Could you give a reason why so many, specifically WWE babyfaces, are so unpopular? For example, Roman Reigns and John Cena. Or is more about cheering for the anti-establishment person like Jericho or AJ Styles? So,
well, I think today's with the writers and the promos having to be scripted, almost kind of like word for word. I think that kills creativity. That's going to kill a natural character attitude of a professional wrestler. You go back in the day, man, even just the late 90s, and you listen to those promos, you could tell this isn't scripted. They're just going off of what's presented in front of them. And it made all the difference because their real character shined through. Whereas now you have writers that went to college for writing and they wrote on a TV show, a sitcom or something like that, and they're like, oh, this is funny, ha 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 ha, while they're writing it, and then it goes over like a wet fart on TV.
That's one of my favorite phrases.
I always think it's so funny that they bring in sitcom writers and they're like, this is going to work. I'm like, you realize that sitcom is probably one of the worst written television mediums that exists. Like, it's like, here's an episode, this is funny, but there's no like continuation of anything.
Yeah.
It's like The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon did something weird, then he did something weird the next week.
I also think with those scripted promos for the baby faces, right? The fucking heel don't have to do shit.
Right.
He just has to sit there and watch the babyface almost bury himself with this goddamn promo.
Right.
That ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with not just going with the flow, right? I mean, that's why a lot of these guys back in the day became stars, right? They saw, oh shit, Hogan is 6'7" and blonde and massive and wears bright colors. Like, fuck, I think these kids are cheering for him. Let's give him a win. Let's give him another win. Oh, let's have him do the ear thing. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, like, oh, he can talk. Let him talk. Yeah, just let him talk after the match. You know, you don't see that happen anymore. And so for me, like, you know, I can think of a couple instances where guys would have taken off. I don't know how high they would have, you know, gotten on the card at the time, but you can think back to where they waited, was it a year or two long on Reigns? Yep. Reigns during the Rumble a couple years ago. He was primed and ready. The crowd was behind him. I mean, I know these guys plan WrestleMania a year in advance, but at that time, it's one of those things where you go, well, if you're a smart business person, I don't remember who the main event was, but I remember during that match you could feel it, and it's like, well, maybe you want Vince to signal to the refs that Reigns is going over. Like, change of plans. This is his time.
Yeah, give him the Iggy.
Give him the Iggy.
Switch it up.
Let him. I mean, you still have guys coming out to the ring. Tell them they're not going over.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're flipping it on you. I think didn't Batista win that year? Maybe.
Yep. Wasn't that Blue Tista?
Yes.
Yeah, but maybe it's
he
like
came out with the gear that was.
But maybe he comes out and you go, sorry, bro, he's taking you out. We can have you guys feud till Mania, but he's going in.
This is coming from up top.
Exactly. So that's one of the times. I think even Zack Ryder early on when he figured out his internet shit, he had a little bit of a crowd following behind him. Again, I don't know that would have gotten very, very high up. I don't think he was going to main event or anything, but
he had the crowd behind him. Give him the IC belt.
The IC title win was well overdue when he won that in the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. For me, that was one of those times where I was like legitimately happy for someone. But that was one that was long overdue.
It was long overdue, but it was also it happened and nobody had cared anymore. Like,
right.
You know, I think the hardcores actually were like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
You know, they finally did that. So the new fans,
right?
Because there was a big gap between Zack Ryder doing that reality TV or the YouTube thing, and his IC. So you might have some fans jump in there and go, wait, what's the big significance here? I don't understand. You know,
but they took the title off him the next night,
right?
So it's like, oh, okay, never mind.
But you don't have to have it be hokey, right? Like, so let's say you have him he's doing his internet thing, you have him push for, he ends up with the IC title, you know, well, around the time that he was doing this actual online gimmick when this shit happened. You can carry it. You don't have to be hokey with it. You can carry it and like, yeah, I did this on my own. You can, at that point, if the company goes, oh, edgy is cool, right? Like, we can't have you be over the top, woo, woo, woo shit, but we need you to carry the company. He can say like, bro, go turn it into an Austin speech if you have to. Like, you guys didn't believe me. Like, fuck you. This is my championship. Like, you didn't do anything. You don't deserve this. And then you can have the company sending guys after Zack Ryder. And again, as preposterous as it sounds, because Zack Ryder's, probably one of those guys that should have been on that jobber list. Okay, make it something.
Yeah.
Turn it into something. They send guys out. Oh, he finds a way out. Oh, shit, the crowd's behind him again.
Yeah. I think also, he was over.
Yeah.
You don't have to put a belt on him just because he's over. Like, you keep him hey, man, you keep doing what you're doing, bro. You keep doing what you're doing. You do that YouTube thing. You come out, you have some matches, you win some, you lose some.
Right.
But just keep that YouTube following going and bring those followers over to the TV show. So what was the question again? Or
faces. So why aren't faces is over now? Is it because people are more inclined to cheer for someone who's the anti-establishment or
like the NWO and like Stone Cold kind of changed the way.
But I think it had to do with the writing. I think once.
Well, yeah. But
once the companies came together, once you merged WWE and WCW, they didn't have a reason to take risks.
Yeah.
Right? They're completely risk averse now. Maybe with AEW they're starting to change their mind, but the WWE was completely risk averse. They had no reason to do anything other than hire writers. Okay, we're going to hire writers. We're going to script this out a year in advance, months in advance, whatever the case is. They have investors they have to worry about.
Yeah.
They're publicly traded. So leaving it up to someone who can cut up the pipe bomb promo. They don't want any more of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I'll say is, what I was kind of saying is, NWO, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Attitude Era, that was way before what you just mentioned, investors, stock options, and writers and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
And the anti-hero became, a big deal.
Right.
Prior to when all that happened, so now you bring in the writers and they go, hey, we need you to write a script for this person. He's a babyface. By the way, you can't curse, you can't use bad words because we're on USA, we're on Fox now. We have investors, we have sponsorships. You can't screw that up, right? We got to keep them around. So now this writer's like, okay, I got to write a babyface promo for this cat. Okay, can't use bad words, can't use foul language. Okay, hey, so and so, I'm gonna kick your butt. And the fans are kind of like, what the fuck is this shit?
I think the best example of a stale babyface writing push the whole thing would have been Ryback. Just like the perfect stale, assembly line babyface that they pushed out was Ryback. And I know Ryback tried his ass off. Yeah. And I think he said, what did the Feed Me More? Didn't that get laughs in the back? Like, he tried to make that his own thing. And I think people like shit all over him for it. I'm like, why? He's trying to do something.
Yeah. And
like, what do you want?
I got over the Feed Me More thing. But yeah, man, it's just, I think the writers.
But I don't think, the problem is you don't need writing. I think a lot of what these writers need to do is write the scenarios and then delegate. Like, hey, look, okay, you have an assessment of the talent. You get a chance to be around the talent, see who can talk, who's got a personality, who's too shy, who's camera shy, and go from there. Like, this guy can talk. Here's what I want you to do. You're mad at him for this reason. If you need any help, I have a couple one-liners for you. But other than that, like, I think you're set. Like, go do your thing. Go get over.
If you hear like the story between when Jericho debuted on Raw, and he went head-to-head with The Rock,
so good.
On a promo battle, basically.
I've never heard the story though.
They were in the back. None of that shit was scripted.
Right.
That was just them going back and like in the back. They kind of said, "Hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this," and they were like, "Oh, cool. You know what? Hey, respond by saying this to me. Like I'm gonna give you the burn for me." That's what they were basically doing. They were in the back just being like, hey, I'm going to say this. Hey, can you say this to me, to respond or to burn me on this? So like the boys are in the back discussing it out. Not word for word, but saying, hey, I'm going to say this is a kind of a few things I have an idea to say. And I have actually a rebuttal for you to just hit, and then you can say whatever you want. So I think that's probably a little bit better. Yeah, what you're saying is let the writers create the situation, the storyline, right? The long story, the arc, and all that kind of stuff, and then let the boys, the wrestlers, hey, what do you need me to push this along? And I'll go out there and say it. But I won't. I can't do it script for script or word for word. On a script.
I think the best example of a thought experiment that you could have to see how bad the writing for WWE is now for baby faces compared to before. Imagine trying to bring in Kurt Angle today as a rookie and make him a babyface. Like, what do you think the WWE would do with Kurt Angle now to make him face versus what he did to get himself over before? Yeah. Because I can tell, I don't know what they would do. There's nothing what would they do? What could the WWE do now based on their track record recently to get over an Olympic gold medalist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that going well at all. And it truthfully, the one who got himself over previously was Angle by going in too much on it, making himself a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
And being the white meat, super, the drinking milk out there instead of the beer and shit like that. Like, I don't know if that was him or a writer gave him that idea, but he
took it and ran with it.
He took it and ran with it. And you can't, imagine doing that with a Gable. I don't know that necessarily. I know Gable, he's been compared to Angle before, but I don't know that Gable could do it. But Gable seems like a guy that if they gave him, an opportunity, he would fucking crush it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that opportunity would have to be, but, give someone else the milk gimmick and see what happens. If they gave it to... Well, imagine giving the milk gimmick to Reigns. It's just not going to work.
It doesn't make sense. The interesting thing about Angle is, was it Tom Pritchard said this when they were training Angle? It was Dory Funk Jr. and Pritchard. They had him, I don't know, one of the WWE places that the Performance Center before that was the Performance
OVW.
Center. Was it at OVW?
I think so.
No, it was the Stanford. They had a studio in Stanford where they would just train wrestlers.
Yeah, so they had Angle cut a promo, and of course he's doing like, I won 2 gold medals with a broken neck. I did all this stuff, and Tom Pritchard it's just after the promo just starts clapping and goes, "That's the greatest heel promo I've ever heard in my life." And Dory Funk Jr. goes, "No, he's a face," and he goes, "No, not in this world, not this time right now in society.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy because he obviously has never failed in his life. Like you got to look at it from the consumer's perspective. I'm at home drinking a beer on my couch. Maybe I had a hard day at work. I've had a lot of rough times throughout my life, and now there's a guy on TV telling me how great he is and that he won 2 gold medals. Fuck this guy, but that's the thing. It was a natural thing for Kurt Angle to be a heel,
right?
And it was smart of WWE to be like, hey, let's roll with this. And by the way, we're gonna make him look like a dummy. We're gonna make him look like a jackass every once in a while. But guess what? When he gets in the ring, he's the fucking real deal.
Yeah,
and he'll prove it time and time again. So he wasn't afraid to take risks and be the butt of the joke, because whenever he got in the ring, it was all him.
Yeah,
it was all him. He was legit.
How long have we been going?
Hour 40.
Oh man,
right.
We got to wrap this up. Dude.
Yeah, I had another thing, but we'll take it next time. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
Thanks for all the questions, guys.
Thank you. Actually, that was really good.
Thanks to all our new listeners, hopefully, with the SoCal Pro Wrestling podcast dropping today with Mike Camden.
That's right. Go listen to my interview for SoCal Pro.
One of the 3 Hogsmen.
One of the 3 Hogsmen. For SoCal Pro Wrestling podcast.
Right.
It's about a half hour.
It's a very quick, easy listen.
Very quick.
Very informative.
Easy. I mentioned Dev.
Thanks, man.
I mentioned the show. Adam, I think I mentioned you.
You did mention me.
All right, excellent. Putting my boys over.
There you go, bud.
Putting the boys over.
Big Duke?
Of course I mentioned Duke.
Fuck yeah.
Checks
in the mail.
That's all the wrestlers tune in for, is just to see if you mention their name.
Did I make the cut?
Did my name get dropped? That's all they want. That's all the wrestlers want. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Hogsmen Pod. Listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
and YouTube.
Oh, and yeah, Adam's got us.
Thank you, Adam.
On YouTube now.
Follow us.
There's no music because I tried to put it up and they took it down because it had big balls in it.
Yeah, licensing, whatever.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Hogsmen Pod. Is it at Hogsmen Pod on YouTube as well?
Just type in Hogsmen.
Just type in Hogsmen Pod, you'll find it.
Yeah,
nice.
We not too many Hogsmens in this world.
Fucking A, man.
There's only 3.
We nailed it.
There's only 3.
That's true.
Only 3.
That's true.
So we own that name. We didn't get to trademark it. Nobody else wants it.
The E called.
What if the hey, you can't use that name anymore. WWE just trademarked it.
It wouldn't be the second time WWE's stolen a stable name from
I came up with it. So back, this is a true story. Make this as short as possible. I came up with the Legacy was my idea. The faction, the Legacy. We had a faction called the Legacy. We came out with it. We did the whole bit. The whole 9. And I think it was like a week later, or a month later, WWE came out with the Legacy. I'm like, what the fuck?
And now you're ripping them off.
Yeah, now I'm ripping them off.
It's so funny. So Darren Corbin,
right?
He's a wrestler out in Minnesota. Yep. Awesome guy. I've wrestled him multiple times. He's one of the best ever. So he's been wrestling for I'm guessing 15 years.
Yeah,
and then you have Corbin, Baron Corbin,
right?
Very. Similar name.
A little bit.
But it's so funny because Darren will catch shit from like people that just watch WWE on like on social media. They'll be like, "Oh, cool, copying Baron Corbin's name," and Darren's like, "I've been wrestling 10 more years than this guy." And, he happened to just have like a name that rhymes with mine. But yeah, so it's one of those things. You might have a sweet maneuver, right? A sweet finisher on the indies. The second somebody that's hired by WWE sees that, goes, "I'm stealing it," it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. You're fucked. Because, yeah, you came up with it, you figured it out, but you didn't do it on the big stage. Anyway. That's about it.
That's all we got. Yep.
If they want the tip, what do they got to do?
They got to take the whole hog.
Adios.